How to learn English. Have you ever stared at an English textbook, feeling a profound sense of despair? The grammar rules seemed endless, the vocabulary stretched out like an unscalable mountain range. You wondered, how to learn English? This question echoes in countless minds worldwide, a silent plea for a clearer path forward. The initial steps often feel the heaviest. Perhaps you've tried countless apps, bought various courses, and yet progress felt agonizingly slow. Every new word seemed to vanish the moment you looked away. How to remember words became another perplexing riddle. The sheer volume of information can be truly overwhelming, leading to deep frustration and doubt. There were days you might have even thought, why should I even bother to learn English? The thought, why you should not learn English, briefly flickered, a fleeting moment of giving up. This self-doubt is a common enemy, crippling potential before it can truly blossom into confidence and skill. But what if the traditional methods were simply not designed for how our brains truly learn? Imagine a world where learning wasn't about rote memorization, but about immersive experiences. A world where language simply seeped into your consciousness, almost without conscious effort or tedious study sessions. It sounds impossible, right? This is where Learn English Through Stories enters the picture, a revolutionary concept often overlooked. Our minds are wired for narrative. Ancient humans communicated not through bullet points, but through vivid tales. Stories connect abstract concepts to relatable experiences, making them stick much more effectively. This is key. When you encounter new vocabulary within a compelling story, the words gain context and emotional resonance. They are no longer isolated items on a list but integral parts of a character's journey or a plot twist. This natural connection makes remembering words less of a chore and more of an intuitive process. Your brain makes connections. Stories don't just teach words, they immerse you in grammar patterns naturally. You absorb sentence structures without even realizing it, picking up the rhythm and flow of the language. It's like learning to ride a bike by actually riding it, not just reading a manual. This immersion builds genuine understanding over time. Imagine a character, let's call her Alex. Alex initially struggled with traditional methods, feeling that familiar despair. She'd spend hours reviewing flashcards, only to forget most of them by morning. Why I always make mistakes, she'd sigh, feeling stuck in a perpetual loop of self-correction and frustration. Her confidence was low. Then, Alex stumbled upon the idea of Learn English Through Stories. Skeptical but desperate, she started with simple tales, listening intently. She found herself captivated, not by the grammar, but by the characters and their adventures. This shift in focus proved to be profoundly transformative for her language journey. As Alex listened, she wasn't just hearing words, she was internalizing pronunciation, intonation, and natural speech patterns. This listen and practice approach became her secret weapon. She'd replay segments, mimicking the sounds, feeling the words on her tongue. It was active listening, not passive consumption, making a huge difference. This active engagement with audio stories is crucial for developing natural spoken English. It trains your ear to recognize nuances you might miss in text. You start to anticipate phrases and understand common expressions, which are vital for real-world conversations and fluency development. It builds a strong foundation. After listening, Alex would pause and try to repeat entire sentences, matching the speaker's rhythm. This mimicking, a form of listen and practice, strengthened her speaking muscles and improved her accent. It wasn't about perfection, but about consistent, deliberate practice to build confidence step by step. Every attempt counted. Initially, Alex worried, "Why I always make mistakes?" But through this new method, she started to see mistakes differently. They weren't failures, but indicators of where to focus. A mispronounced word meant an opportunity to listen again more carefully, to refine her articulation. Mistakes became stepping stones. Embracing errors is a cornerstone of effective language acquisition. No native speaker learned without countless mispronunciations and grammatical slips. The fear of making mistakes often paralyzes learners, preventing them from speaking. But the journey of learning is inherently messy and imperfect, which is entirely normal. The psychological barrier to speaking is often the highest hurdle. You understand, you can read, but when it comes to opening your mouth, a paralyzing fear takes over. How to take first step for talking becomes a terrifying question. This anxiety is a common experience for many learners. Stories provided Alex with a safe space to practice. She'd imagine herself as a character, speaking their lines aloud in her room. This low-stakes practice built confidence without the pressure of a real conversation. It was a bridge from passive understanding to active production, slowly chipping away at her fear. Alex then discovered a very interesting story, a serialized podcast that completely engrossed her. Each episode left her eager for the next, unknowingly pushing her English skills further. The plot was so compelling that the language barrier faded, and she simply enjoyed the narrative, absorbing words effortlessly. This deep immersion in a captivating narrative is precisely what makes Learn English Through Stories so potent. When you are genuinely interested in the content, your brain is more receptive to new information. It stops being a chore and transforms into an enjoyable pastime, disguised as a learning activity. Forget the dry grammar drills and endless vocabulary lists that drain your motivation. This approach bypasses the typical pitfalls of language learning by engaging your emotions and curiosity. It taps into our natural human inclination for stories, making How to Learn English a much more intuitive process overall. Your subconscious mind picks up patterns and rules without you even trying. You'll find yourself spontaneously understanding new phrases or forming correct sentences without consciously recalling a rule. This organic absorption is far more effective and sustainable than forced memorization, leading to real fluency. Our brains are incredible language learning machines, especially when provided with rich, contextual input. Children don't learn grammar rules, they absorb language by listening and interacting within their environment. Learn English is about replicating this natural, organic process, rather than fighting against it with rigid methods. The initial thought, why you should not learn English, fades away when you discover this joyful path. The perceived difficulty transforms into an exciting challenge, an adventure. You realize that the problem wasn't your ability, but perhaps the method you were using all along. A new door opens. That fleeting moment of asking, why you should not learn English, was actually a sign of frustration with ineffective methods, not a lack of potential. It was your brain telling you to find a better way, a more engaging approach that aligns with how humans truly acquire knowledge and skills effectively. Choosing the path of least resistance, which in this case is the most natural way our brains learn, makes the journey enjoyable. When learning is fun, it doesn't feel like work. This sustained engagement is the secret ingredient for long-term retention and mastery of any new skill, especially a language. So, how to learn English effectively transitions from a question of strategy to one of consistent engagement. You move from passively absorbing content to actively participating with it. This dynamic interaction is what truly cements new information in your long-term memory, making it readily accessible later on. Alex built a routine around her new discovery. Every morning, she'd listen to a chapter of her very interesting story podcast. In the evenings, she'd reread the transcript, highlighting new words, and then practice speaking aloud the most challenging sentences. This routine became her anchor for progress. Consistency, even more than intensity, proved to be the magic formula. Short, regular sessions of listen and practice were far more effective than sporadic, marathon study sessions. The brain benefits from repeated exposure and spaced repetition, allowing new information to consolidate properly over time. One key insight for how to remember words is to focus on meaning and context rather than isolated definitions. When a word is tied to an event, a character's emotion, or a pivotal moment in a story, it becomes part of a larger, memorable web of information, easily retrieved. Meaning is power. Alex also started visualizing the scenes from her very interesting story as she listened. This mental imagery further cemented the vocabulary and phrases. Connecting words to vivid pictures and emotions significantly boosts retention, making retrieval faster and more accurate. Your imagination is a powerful tool. Despite her progress, Alex still encountered moments where she'd think, "Why I always make mistakes." But now, instead of self-criticism, she saw them as learning opportunities. She understood that every error was a step closer to fluency, a natural part of the evolutionary process of language acquisition. Think of mistakes as valuable data points for your brain. Each error tells you something about where your understanding or pronunciation needs refinement. Without making mistakes, you wouldn't know what to improve. They are essential feedback mechanisms on your journey to mastering English conversation. As Alex's listening comprehension improved through listen and practice, her confidence grew exponentially. She could follow conversations, understand nuances, and anticipate what was coming next. This internal validation was crucial for preparing her for the ultimate challenge, speaking spontaneously and authentically. The leap from understanding to speaking, how to take first step for talking, often feels monumental. It's the moment you expose yourself, your imperfect command of the language, to the world. Fear of judgment, of miscommunication, can be paralyzing for even the most dedicated learners. Alex started with very small steps. First, talking to herself in the mirror, describing her day in simple English sentences. Then, recording her voice and listening back. Next, she found a supportive online language exchange partner. Each tiny victory chipped away at her anxiety, building momentum daily. Her first real conversation was terrifying. She stumbled, she paused, she probably made every mistake imaginable, But her partner was patient, and Alex realized something profound: people are generally supportive. The fear of "why I always make mistakes" began to dissipate in the face of real interaction. She understood that the goal wasn't perfection, but communication. Even with broken English, she could convey her thoughts and connect with another human being. This fundamental realization transformed her approach to how to take first step for talking. It became less about flawless grammar and more about connection. The joy of being understood, of making a new friend across cultures, fueled her motivation. This intrinsic reward far outweighed the occasional grammatical error. It's a powerful testament to the fact that learning English is not just an academic pursuit, but a gateway to new experiences and relationships. The idea that why you should not learn English is a valid argument often stems from past failures or ineffective methods. It's a mental block, not a factual limitation. Every person possesses the inherent capacity for language acquisition. It's about unlocking that innate ability effectively and joyfully. By adopting strategies like learn English through stories and consistent listen and practice, you reclaim your innate language learning potential. You move beyond the limitations of traditional schooling and embrace a natural, brain-friendly method that brings results and sustainable progress. This empowers you immensely. Regarding how to remember words, regular active recall is far more effective than passive review. Instead of just rereading, try to recall the word's meaning and usage without looking. Testing yourself strengthens the neural pathways, making information more readily accessible when needed in conversation. Coupled with active recall, spaced repetition helps solidify vocabulary. Reviewing words at increasing intervals over time ensures they transition from short-term to long-term memory. This systematic approach, integrated with engaging stories, forms a powerful duo for effortless vocabulary retention and fluency. Context is king for how to remember words. A word learned in isolation is easily forgotten. A word learned within the gripping narrative of a very interesting story becomes part of an emotional, vivid memory, making it almost impossible to forget. The story provides the necessary anchors for recall. This method encourages learning phrases and idioms, not just single words. Native speakers communicate in chunks, not isolated vocabulary items. By listening to stories, you naturally pick up these natural language chunks, which significantly improves your fluency and makes you sound more authentic. Remember, how to learn English is a deeply personal journey. There isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. But by understanding the principles of natural language acquisition, immersion, context, active practice, and embracing mistakes, you can tailor your own effective strategy that genuinely works for you. As Alex continued her journey, a snowball effect began. Each new word learned, each conversation attempted, made the next step easier. Her confidence soared, and the once daunting goal of learn English transformed into an exciting reality. She was truly enjoying the process and seeing amazing results. She transitioned from a frustrated student constantly asking why I always make mistakes to a confident speaker who viewed every interaction as a chance to grow. This mental shift is perhaps the most significant transformation of all, empowering you to push past perceived limitations daily. The ultimate goal of Learn English isn't just about passing tests or understanding movies. It's about opening up a world of opportunities, connecting with diverse cultures, and expanding your own perspective. It's about personal growth and becoming a truly global citizen, ready for any interaction. Taking that how to take first step for talking is the bridge between theoretical knowledge and practical application. It's scary, yes, but it's the only way to solidify your understanding and truly internalize the language. Don't wait for perfection, embrace the process and start speaking now. Even after achieving fluency, the journey of learning English never truly ends. There's always new vocabulary, new expressions, and new nuances to discover. It becomes a lifelong adventure of continuous growth and cultural exploration, enriching your life in countless unexpected ways and daily interactions. So, the secret to how to learn English and how to remember words isn't a magic pill, but a deliberate shift to engaging, context-rich methods like stories and consistent listen and practice. It's about reframing why I always make mistakes into a positive feedback loop, and bravely taking that first step. Now it's your turn to embark on this thrilling adventure. Forget the old frustrations and embrace the power of narrative. Find a very interesting story that captivates you, and let the language flow into your mind effortlessly. Your fluency journey truly begins today, right here, right now. Remember, it's a process, not a destination. There will be good days and challenging days. But with the right mindset and effective strategies, you will overcome every obstacle. Learn English is within your grasp, waiting for you to simply reach out and grab it with confidence. The joy you will feel when you effortlessly understand a complex conversation or articulate your thoughts perfectly will be immense. This feeling of mastery, of truly connecting with others in a new language, is the ultimate reward, validating all your efforts and dedication over time. Your journey to learn English will become your own very interesting story, full of triumphs and lessons. Every mistake will be a plot twist, every new word a treasure, every conversation a thrilling chapter. You are the protagonist in your own language learning adventure, starting today. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start small. Choose one captivating story, dedicate just 15 to 20 minutes daily to listen and practice, and be patient with yourself. The cumulative effect of these small, consistent efforts will surprise you, leading to incredible progress over months and years. The fear of how to take first step for talking is just a whisper compared to the roar of your potential. Silence is the only true barrier. Speak, even if imperfectly, and watch your confidence and fluency blossom faster than you ever imagined possible. Your voice deserves to be heard. You now hold the keys to unlocking your English potential. It's not about being good at languages but about applying smart, effective, and enjoyable methods. Learn English is an achievable dream, one that promises to enrich your life in profound and unexpected ways, forever. So, dismiss any lingering thoughts of why you should not learn English. Embrace the joy, the challenge, and the boundless possibilities that fluency offers. Your journey starts now. Listen, practice, tell your story, and remember that every mistake brings you closer to mastery. Go for it.